If you were immortal and couldn't get injured/sick, what would you do? Enjoy all the amazing animals that I normally couldn't because they are dangerous, and save people from danger whenever I could, of course. Buy a nice recliner so I could watch the stars burn out comfortably. You must be a very patient person. I'd visit the reactor at Chernobyl. No one alive has seen the inside of that place. Live exactly as normal. Learn as many languages as I can. I'd travel the world. Change my name every couple of decades. I wouldn't make any friends though. Probably not illegal. You're immortal, not superhuman. You get arrested then you're fucked for quite a while. So probably test the limits of my immortality/injury free self. Drink to the point of beyond alcohol poisoning. Swim to the bottom of the ocean. Dive in a volcano. Get lost in a rainforest. Edit. Alright. I get it guys. Can't swim in magma. It solidifies. Effin' nerds. Ruin my fun. Live in terror at the realization it was only a matter of time before I'm buried alive under hundreds of feet of earth and stone, or pinned at the bottom of an ocean with no way to escape. Think about the times you've heard of a plane crashing in the ocean, or people dying in landslides or avalanches. Most of those don't get recovered. They are left where they fell because it's way too much effort to unbury them just to bury them again. Your chances of having that happen to you in one lifetime are very slim. But if you're immortal, it rises quickly to it being the most likely outcome. Then you get to spend the rest of eternity alone, in the dark, without being able to move. Go to school the next day and tell everyone if they can make me bleed. If I do I give them £5 English money. Watch them all line up to try make me bleed. At the end of the day I'll be rich. I've always wanted to go over Niagara Falls in a barrel. I'd get myself hit by lightning just to feel it. Well, not just to feel it. I'd also have the slow-mo guys there to film it. I'm quite sure it would go viral. And I'd leverage that fame to found a cult. Although I suppose, if I were actually immortal and beyond all forms of damage it wouldn't really be a cult so much as a religion. In any case, I'd take over and begin coming up with a social structure that is able to incorporate research into decision making. Okay, so, I'll go ahead and admit, my goal is world domination. Benevolent world domination. But world domination. Fortunately, I have all the time I need. I'm 35 now, presuming I keep this age. But that otherwise normal bodily functions work as expected, except I just can't die. I'm first going to immediately start a diet and exercise regime. I'm severely overweight, diabetic, have poor general health. But since nothing I do carries risk of death, I know I can safely ignore the diabetes and the threat of heart attack or stroke from overexertion. So this weight is coming off pronto. Once I'm fit and trim, I'm going to travel. I can walk or trade labor for passage to get to a lot of different places. I'm going to document these journeys and places meticulously. I'm going to keep every ticket, every photo, every visa stamp, everything. Eventually I'm going to settle someplace relatively peaceful, with little government, for about 80 years or so. Then I'm off to the Vatican. Why the Vatican? The Catholic Church has been around for thousands of years. Its records are very carefully preserved, and their experts are on historical documents are second to none. I'm going to present myself and my records of my world travels nearly a century before, and let them know I'm immortal. They may treat me in various ways, keep me for a few decades, until it becomes apparent I'm telling the truth. Why? Because while it carries risks, the Vatican will likely see me as a miracle from God, and believe, as I'll claim, that I'm meant to do some great task for the good of the world, and that I believe I've been given immortality so that I may learn of all the world, all languages, all nations, all cultures, yes, even all religions, a task that no one lifetime could accomplish. I'll ask them, as one of the wealthiest organizations on earth, to assist me in accomplishing this. I'd probably stay at the Vatican for a few lifetimes, learning all I can there, languages mostly. Then, I'll set off on my tour. I'll first visit all of the Middle East, Europe, and Africa. as the birthplaces of humanity and Western civilization, then Asia, then the Americas. I'll spend at least a century on each continent, with probably a decade or more in each major culture. As I do this, I'll also be doing homework. I'll get the Vatican to send me tutors in mathematics, all the sciences, economics, philosophy, technology, engineering, military issues, military training, politics, etc. Then I will tell the Vatican that I believe I'm ready to unite the world in peace. I will guide them politically and culturally in outreach programs, economically in investments, even diplomatically in foreign affairs. I will do my best to help the world to a period of functional peace. All the while I will also be building my own web of resources. If they catch wind, I'll tell them as much as they need to know. That I've come to understand that the Catholic Church has become too dependent on me to guide them, and that the next critical step will require me to be independent from the Church, so that when the next step is taken, I will not be seen as a tool of Catholicism. But I will ask that they make sure the pontiff, and every succeeding pontiff, is made aware of my existence, so that when the time comes I can come back and guide them. I will then travel to the Middle East, and I will seek to do the same thing with Islam, then Jerusalem, and the Jews, then to the Dalai Lama, and successively to each major world religion, then to the heads of state. I'm thinking it might take upwards of millennia to accomplish all this, so that all major world religions and nations are aware of my existence and my calling. I'm sure that at some point my existence will be leaked, but I'm equally sure my existence will be dismissed as insane conspiracy fodder. As I'm doing this, I will be consolidating economic power, lifetimes of careful investing, accrual of controlling interests, the world's largest banking institutions, manufacturers, service providers. My fingers will be on every pulse, in every pie. I will also make sure that I have bought large volumes of rare earth metals like platinum, and durable trade necessities like shipping lines, railways, and air freight. I will then call for the world's biggest superpower, whoever it is at the time, to call for a meeting of all the world's leaders, political, economic, military, and religious. I will use my influence to ensure every major and minor player attends. There, in a closed door session, I will offer, with no strings attached, no threats if they refuse, to guide the world to true and everlasting peace and prosperity, the end of war, the end of poverty, the end of hate. I will reveal that I have spent hundreds or thousands of years living among all the peoples of the world, so that I may act as a bridge, an arbiter, in the sense of arbitration, so that all people can live together. That inasmuch as many businesses depend on scarcity to drive them, that opening up literally the entire world as their customers will mean greater profits overall. That those who produce weapons can just as easily produce the materials or infrastructure to connect the world, and at a greater profit. I will willingly give them every reason to agree, and by that point, every answer for any doubts or questions. I will not take away their sovereignty, but I will make sure it is effectively political or economic suicide for any nation to refuse, and if any do anyway, I will more than likely have the backing of other countries, private industry, and their own religious leaders, to help them change their mind. Over time I can militarily, economically, or culturally isolate those who resist, until I'm the de facto benevolent dictator of the world. After that, it's time to start blurring the lines. Multiculturalism and assimilation, stirring of the melting pot, will be the gradual creep that will unite the world so strongly that conflict will be a thing of the past. We will be united as a species for the first time in our history. I imagine during this period I'll also be using my influence over religions to bring them all together, with me as a central figure, though I'm not interested in godhood. I imagine it'll be difficult to convince people I'm not at this point. Then, it's time to start exploring the galaxy. After all, I've got to get away from that effing snail. I would learn every skill. With being mortal I have limited time to learn skills, and have to pick skills that either benefits me or doesn't take much of my limited time. Now, I'm thinking this means I will stay as my age, 29, for the rest of my life, which is infinity. Maybe with these skills I could live a different life for each skill. Take few years to learn piano and become pianist. then art and painting, etc. With each skill I think I can live in one place for around 10 years. If you haven't seen, Forever is a TV show about a man who is immortal and who has lived for 200 years. Help out at hospitals with those dying need someone without safety gear to sit next to them and tell them it's gonna be okay. All humans deserve that. I think I'd get incredibly depressed because I would know that sooner or later I would lose everybody and everything I have ever loved and will ever love. You have too much of something, it isn't longer desirable. I couldn't ever motivate myself to do anything because why should I do it now when I still have an eternity to do it? In addition to this, there are only so many things one can do. Sure, there are a million great books, movies and games, and there are a million gorgeous places I want to visit, but sooner or later I will have done everything there is to do, and I will have seen everything that I care to see. Assuming I also won't die of old age, I'd bust my to get money as quick as possible. Then once I had a comfortable amount to invest and generate money for me, I'd retire and spend literally forever focusing on all my hobbies and interests that I don't have enough time/money for now.